Now, again, we have a no line reference question, and this time, since it's at the end of the passage, the chronology rule is going to be kind of annoying here because we don't have a lot of other line references to help us figure out where to read. We can look at 64 to 75, but as we saw for question 31, that includes a lot of lines for us here, and we don't want to have to sort through all of that. Luckily, though, the way the chronology rule works is even when we don't have a line reference for a question, if we're pretty confident we know where the answer was, that should also follow the rule. So if you didn't watch the video for number 31, I can just tell you the answer to this question was right here. The difference between GL and other people was that other people have 2 cortices and GL only has 1. So here's the answer to number 31. So even though it didn't give me that line reference, I just found it there. And now, based on the chronology rule, the odds are very good that the answer number 32 is somewhere after that, which is a much narrower piece of text because that's where the passage ends. And look, the chronology rule is sometimes broken. So if we can't find this answer there, we might need to read more stuff. But I say start with the rule and look at the smaller piece, and then if you don't find it, you can always read more. Why start with reading more? That's a bad way of thinking about things. Read less. I want you to have to read less. It'll be less stressful, take less time, and you'll make fewer mistakes. It's a win-win-win. So let's look. Let's see if the chronology rule works. Let's see if we can find this answer in those lines I highlighted. According to the passage, humans experience an emotional aspect of touch when? Okay. This solidified the notion that CT fibers convey a more emotional quality of touch, rather than the conscious aspect that helps us describe what we are sensing. CT fibers, it seems, specifically provide pleasurable sensations. So it seems that it's about the CT fibers, and it's about pleasurable sensations. Let's see if there's a choice that matches with that. Okay, brain cortices are shielded from nerve signals. Well, no. They do talk about the cortices in the previous line, but shielded, that's a very strong word. That doesn't seem right. CT fibers are exposed to a stimulus. Well, they certainly talked about the CT fibers. A stimulus could be anything. I mean, they're talking about touching, so that could be a stimulus, so I guess that works. Let's look at C. Nerve fibers that sense pain are suppressed. Nope, they don't talk about pain. They talk about pleasure, not pain, different things. Conscious aspects of sensation are ignored. Ooh, I remember that phrase, right? Rather than the conscious aspect that helps us describe what we are sensing. Okay. Well, it's saying that the CT fibers convey the emotional quality rather than the conscious aspect that helps us describe what we are sensing. But it's not saying we're ignoring the conscious aspect, right? It's just saying that the CT fibers do that. It's not saying that the other thing isn't there. So this is a case where it's a tempting choice, but that's a very strong word. And I don't see a matching idea in the lines. I don't see anything that says that we're ignoring a certain aspect of our sensations. It's just saying that we're focused instead on this other aspect. That's different. And so because B is weaker, I prefer that choice, right? I can justify both of the pieces here, right? CT fibers are definitely talked about. And do they talk about a stimulus? Yeah. They're talking about touch, right? So we're talking about touch, sensations. Those are stimuluses. Like something rubs against your arm and that's a stimulus. So that weaker word is more justifiable based on the line. So that makes me more confident in that word, even though it doesn't just like come out and say it the same way that it says things like CT fibers and conscious aspects. So that's what the SAT is always going to do. They're going to pop some things in there that are just copy-paste from the passage because they know that when you see it in the passage and you see it in the choice, your brain goes, jackpot, that's a match. But there's other things going on these choices. So remember, with process of elimination, we're excited when we find matches. But we always need to then kind of fight our instincts and make sure that we're not ignoring something that doesn't match. So process of elimination is about finding the 10% of a choice that doesn't match with the passage. And in this case, that 10% is ignored. It doesn't match. I don't have anything to point to that idea. Whereas stimulus, which isn't copy-pasted directly, at least has similar ideas that do back it up. And this can be easy sometimes, this can be hard sometimes, but every time, you don't want to just go with what feels right. You want to prove it. And as you practice process of elimination, you'll get faster, but it's the most surefire way, even if it takes a little longer, to avoid traps and get those hard questions right. So try to build a process into how you answer these questions so that you can change your score by changing your strategy.